CP moms. How are you guys doing? I just wanted to jump on real quick to wish all of my wonderful CP moms a happy Mother's Day. Not only to my CP moms, but to all moms and to those who are raising other children, those who are grandparents, those who are aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters who are in the role of a mom. I wanted to wish you a happy Mother's Day because there are a lot of us that are moms, and it may not be the traditional way that most people consider, someone being a mom, but there are many ways to be a mom. There are blended families, there's adoption, there's foster care, there are women who are pregnant and haven't given birth yet. So there are many ways that people are moms, and so I just wanted to not only acknowledge CP moms, but to those who are raising grandbabies, children, other people's children, grandbabies, nieces, nephews, whoever you have been a mom to, happy Mother's Day. I wanted to bring encouragement to our CP moms because, it's a hard road, being having this type of pregnancy is not easy, and my goal is to always bring encouragement, to always hope for the best, to have faith and trust in God, and continue to pray and just ask God to keep us through this this tough journey. Some people aren't as strong as other people, and for different reasons. It doesn't mean that someone else is better or someone is weak or whatever the case may be, but everybody's situation is different. A lot of us sleepy moms don't have support. I mean, we all know that we don't have support from the medical field. We all know that we don't have support from doctors and nurses, and we can't find doctors that will support us the way that we should be supported. Um, you all know that we have a lot of naysayers. We have a lot of people that come against us when it comes to the type of pregnancy that we have. But I guarantee you, if the tables were turned and it was the other way around, people would be a lot more sympathetic. And it's not that we're looking for empathy. We just want to be treated like any other, expecting mom is has been treated. And, unfortunately, we don't get that. So please excuse my appearance, y'all. I just wanted to jump on real quick. I am home relaxing today, enjoying my Mother's Day, and I had a great Mother's Day. And I was just reflecting on a lot of things and I'm really grateful to God, just for His grace and mercy and for everything that He's blessed me with and blessed my family with. I don't have a reason to complain about anything, and I just wanted to encourage those who may have lost a loved one. You may have lost your mom or your grandmother or your aunt or a sister or a sibling or a child, whatever the case may be. This day may not be as joyous for you as as some other people. So I just want to encourage those who are going through a hard time, those who have suffered the loss of a loved one. My prayers are with you. My deepest sympathy and condolences are with you. I pray that God will cover you. I pray that He will strengthen you. I pray that your tears will dry and that you will find peace and comfort. And I just pray that, it gets better for you. I certainly don't want to be insensitive to those, who don't have their mom with them or don't have their loved one with them, and it's not easy. A lot of dads are raising their kids and their grandkids. A lot of siblings are raising their brothers and sisters and, having to step in and take over the role as a mom. So, there are a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different stories and cases on Mother's Day. And it's easy to celebrate when your loved one is still with you, but when your loved one is no longer with you, it could be a very tough day. It's depend. Everybody is different. Everybody's emotions are different, and things like that. So, I don't want to be insensitive to anybody's situation. I just want the best situation for everyone. And like I said, please excuse how I look. I just wanted to come on. I just felt compelled to just go ahead and just, come on and just, just encourage those who need encouragement. Like I said, I know that there are people out there who it's a bittersweet day. It's not, a bunch of gifts and candy and hugs and love and things like that. So I want to let you know that, you can get through it. There are people praying for you. There are lots of people praying for us that we don't even know about. And I pray that God will comfort you, and I pray that you will find peace and comfort in your situation. And I also pray, like I said, and I want to also acknowledge the moms that are trying to conceive and have not been able to at this point. There are many women who want to have kids and they've not been able to conceive. And I have been that mom before. Trust me. Even though I have I have kids, or I have a daughter, but there are many women who want to have kids and they can't. And so I just want to encourage you that there are many ways to have children. It may not be the traditional way. And I know as a woman, a lot of times we want to conceive and carry our babies and push them out. We want to have it the natural way. But I pray that whatever, your desire is, that it will come to pass. And if it's not the way that you want it to be, I pray that however God leads you, to become a mom, that it is, in His will and that it happens for you. And so I pray for those who really, don't like days like today, because maybe on Mother's Day they lost their child, or their child is no longer with them, or their loved one is no longer with them on Mother's Day. And that's very disheartening. That's very sad. So I pray for those who are going through loss. I pray, that your strength will be renewed. And I also pray that you continue to just hold on. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't throw in the towel. Just keep pressing. Keep moving forward. Because a lot of times in our tragedy and in our sufferings, God makes us stronger, and our lives go in directions that we don't think that they would go in, and God begins to do things in our lives that we could never see, coming. Your ladder shall be greater. It doesn't have to be worse. It can be greater. Even though when you lose someone, you think, how in the world can things get better for me? And I just lost my child. I just lost, the love of my life. There's no way that things can get better because they're no longer with me. This hurt is too great. It's too much pain for me to bear. Well, let me just encourage you and let you know that Jesus Christ knows what it's like to suffer. He died on the cross for our sins, and God gave His only begotten Son to die for our sins. So there was a separation between the two, and it wasn't easy. But guess what? He did it so that we can have everlasting life and be with Him again. And so there's always, uh, things in life that happens that we can't foresee right now. We can't foresee, our hearts being mended. We can't foresee our hearts being healed. We can't foresee life being different without this particular person or persons in our life. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that pain can be so deep that, you may say nothing can heal this pain, but God can heal all pain. Because what He can do is He can work in our lives in ways that we can never ever imagine. We may not be able to see it with our finite minds, and we may not be able to process the greatness of God in our mind because He's a great big God. But, He can turn our lives around in ways that we would never imagine. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is keep fighting. Don't give up. I mean, even though the hurt is there, even though the pain is real and things like that, God can work in us through our pain. He can work in us through our pain. And we may say, well, this pain is so deep, it's not going to ever end. I'm always going to feel this way. Well, if we keep trusting in the Lord, and asking God to move in our lives and to bring us healing and comfort, He will do it. He will do it. And we just have to continue to put our trust in Him. And I'll tell you my own testimony. I prayed. I was praying. I knew that I had my daughter at a very young age. I wasn't married when I had my daughter. I had her at a very young age, but I had always knew that I wanted to have more children. I was very young. I was running the streets, and, I was a typical 20-year-old. I wasn't ready to settle down and, you know, not hang out with my friends and all of that stuff after I had my daughter. My daughter couldn't have been no more than about 3 months old before I was back out, doing my thing and hanging out with friends. I was a responsible mom, and I took good care of my daughter and things like that. But I knew I wasn't in a position to be married or anything like that. But then as I got older and I started to raise my daughter, and I knew that at some point I wanted to settle down and be married and have more kids. That didn't happen for me for a long time. I mean, my daughter was the only child. Um, well, her father had other kids, but as far as I'm concerned, my daughter was well into her adult years, and she still is because I'm pregnant now. I have a cryptic pregnancy, but my daughter is an adult now, and I still haven't birthed my children yet. And I'm married, and I prayed and asked God, for more children, and I didn't expect to have this type of pregnancy, but how I'm looking at the situation is that God blessed me with life inside of me. He gave me the desires of my heart. And for those of you who don't know what cryptic pregnancy is an indefinite time frame where you have your baby, so you can be pregnant for years. There's a hormone imbalance where the HCG levels in your body is really low. That's the hormone that produces. Will tell you whether or not you get a positive pregnancy test. You know how you miss your period, you go get a pregnancy test and you pee on the stick or you pee in the cup, and you use the pregnancy test to see whether it's positive or negative. Well, that hormone is very, very low in our bodies. And because of that, get a false negative. Um, we get a false negative pregnancy test, even though we are in fact pregnant. And not only that, um, we can be, CP cryptic pregnancies go on for years unless the pregnancy turns normal. So in my case, I've been pregnant now. Definitely over 3 years, probably more close to 4 years, and I'm having multiple babies. It's a long story. If you want to know my story, I tell my story on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and look at some of my videos, and I talk about my journey, and I tell you all about what cryptic pregnancy is and all of that. I'm 50 years old. I've never been ashamed of my age. I've never been ashamed to tell people how old I am, because guess what? I don't have any control over that. I didn't have control over when I was born. And so what? What difference does it make how old you are? I mean, a lot of people say, "What? I don't want to have kids after I'm, 30 or 32 or whatever the case may be. If I couldn't handle it at this age, then I wouldn't be pregnant." I be, so, children are blessings from the Lord. God answered my prayers. No, I didn't expect to have this kind of pregnancy, but here we are. What am I gonna do? There's nothing. I'm gonna just keep fighting. There's nothing else I can do. I've been on this journey a long time, and it actually could have been longer than 4 years. It's just that I didn't know that I was pregnant until my body started to produce more symptoms of pregnancy. My belly started growing. I started outgrowing my clothes. I had started feeling pregnancy symptoms, but I thought I was going into perimenopause because menopause has the same symptoms as pregnancy. So I didn't know what was going on. The only reason why I knew for a fact that it was pregnancy is one, like I said, all of the symptoms were there. Two, I started outgrowing all of my clothes. I just started getting big around my waist. I couldn't fit my jeans anymore. And like every 2 months, I would have to go to the store and buy new clothes. And then I was sitting down one day and just, watching TV, just doing normal stuff. And I kept feeling these flutters and these kicks. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is going on? Now, prior to that, I had an ultrasound done. And I had requested the images from the ultrasound because I knew something was going on in my body. Because I had an ultrasound done before, and of course they were like, "No, you're not pregnant. All of your tests come back negative, so no, it's not pregnancy." But my body kept sending me different signals, so it was something that I could not ignore. And like I said, I just kept gaining weight. So I was sitting on the couch one day, and I felt these flutters and these kicks in this this movement, and then I started to kind of put my hand on my stomach, and at the bottom of my stomach, near my pelvic area, I felt a pulsation, like a heartbeat. And then when I got my images back, I looked closely at my ultrasound images, and I saw my baby on my ultrasound. I really had to look closely at my ultrasound to see where my baby was, because my baby is almost like it was in my uterus, but it was almost at the very bottom of my stomach, just where I felt the heartbeat. And so, with cryptic pregnancies, doctors and the medical field won't acknowledge your pregnancy as a viable pregnancy. The baby could be clear as day, but they will not acknowledge it as a baby because there is no positive test to show that you are in fact pregnant. So we have a really hard time with our pregnancies, guys. And, people call us crazy. People say we're psychotic. People say we're delusional, this, that, and the third. As long as I know my story and as long as I know my truth, I really I don't let that bother me. I have pretty thick skin and I know my truth. And so when people say things like that, honestly, I don't deal with it. I mean, I block people. I don't entertain it. Because people don't, in their mind they can't comprehend this type of situation being a real situation. People always say is no way possible that a woman can go beyond 9 months carrying the baby. It's no way. Well, this is what I always say to that. And when people say there's no way, there's no way. Well, God created these bodies. God created these bodies. He knows all things. He goes beyond the human mind. He goes beyond the body. No one can say what is humanly impossible. No one can say that because they are not God. God created my body. And so whatever happens within my body, God is in control of that. Not me. I didn't ask for this kind of pregnancy. I have no motive. I have no reason to make up anything or to fabricate the truth or to come up with something just for the sake of. I mean, at this point in my life, why would I do something like that? So I don't have a reason to lie about anything. And so, what I do is I just tell my truth. I created a platform so that I can encourage other women, so that I can use my voice to speak my truth and to share my journey with my experiences. Now, if someone else disagrees with it, or they find that it's crazy or impossible or whatever they may say, that's totally on them. I can't. I mean, that's okay. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone is entitled, but on this platform that I created, that God allowed me to create, it is to encourage, it is to espouse people to Jesus Christ, and it is to have different topics, to have story time, to allow people to vent, to allow people to tell their story, to allow people to have a safe place to land, to come to open up, because many women don't really want to talk about their pregnancy because they've been shunned. They've been shunned by their family. They've been shunned by their significant other because they too are told, you're not pregnant. If you're pregnant, it's been 4 years. It's been 2 years. How in the world are you saying you're pregnant and it's been 2 years and you haven't had a baby yet? You can't be pregnant 2 years. There's no way you can carry your baby that long. Well, I'm here to tell you. I am here to tell you that is the farthest thing from the truth. You can, in fact, be pregnant for certain amount of time beyond 9 months because I am that person. And there are many, many women just like me. There are many women who have been pregnant longer than me. I know women that have been carrying their babies 8 years. Now, humanly, we can't conceive that. It's who wouldn't think that somebody is crazy if they told them that they've been pregnant and carrying the baby for 8 years? You're going to be called all kinds of names. And that's what we go through. That is what we go through. And here's the funny thing. When you see the baby bump, you can clearly see that women like us are in fact pregnant. You can see the changes in our bodies. Then we're told, oh, you have, I forget what it's called, but it's some kind of mental name that they give you where you believe so bad in your mind that you're pregnant that your body actually responds to it, and you actually have a baby bump, but there's no baby. It's some kind of psychosis or some type of name, because a doctor put on my sonogram and my ultrasound that that's what I had, and the baby was clear as day, right there. But because doctors don't want to deal with this type of pregnancy, it's a very complicated pregnancy, and they don't consider it to be viable because, like I said, we get false blood tests and false negative urine tests. So, with science and with doctors, 1 + 1 is 2. And so we always get told that what we are going through is not true, that we got a mental problem. And the doctors do see the babies on the sonogram, but they don't want to deal with it. I've had those personal experiences since I've been pregnant. And, I had somebody comment, well, why in the world would a doctor do that? What do they have to lose? What reason would a doctor tell you that there's no baby on the ultrasound and there really is one? And I said, you know what? I can't answer that question. I can only tell you what my experience is. And my babies were there. I've showed my babies to every doctor that I've seen, and they won't acknowledge it as a viable pregnancy. So I can't answer that question. But here's the thing. Why are we the crazy ones? Why are we the ones that are wrong? Why are we the ones that have this psychological problem? Why is it that our story can't be true? Our ultrasounds, can't. Why are we the ones that's wrong? That's what I don't understand. That's what I don't, and I know what it is. It's because the human mind can't comprehend something like that. And I'm going to tell you what else I know. And this is my personal belief, and this is my experience, and this is my opinion. Whoever's supposed to see it and understand this pregnancy in due time, they will. Those who don't acknowledge it, those who don't believe it, then, you know what? God will send them another way. But there will come a time when this type of pregnancy will be acknowledged, or we'll end up going into labor, and we'll have all of our proof, all of our evidence from 4 or 5 years ago when we tried to tell the doctors and the nurses and whoever else and get their attention and tell them that we were pregnant. We're going to have all the proof we need. All the documentation we need is going to be right there. Because let me tell you something. I have copies of every last ultrasound and sonogram that I had done. Every piece of paper. Every doctor that I've been to. I have all of my documentation. All of my sonograms and my ultrasounds have the date and time that I had that sonogram done. Now, let me tell you something else. So, there is a possibility, it's rare, where sometimes our pregnancies will turn normal, meaning that our hormones will shift and they will begin to build up, and then we'll get a positive pregnancy. When that happens, even though we've been pregnant 2 years prior to our pregnancy test turning positive, the doctor will say, now our babies grow slow. So we can be pregnant 2 years, but actually only be like 26, 28 weeks pregnant. So the doctor is going to think we just got pregnant. We just got pregnant. But if we show the doctors the previous ultrasounds and sonograms before we turn normal, they're still not going to believe us. So it's nothing that we say out of our mouths that's going to allow the doctors to believe us. So that's why I have documentation and proof about my pregnancy and how long I've been pregnant. I have everything. when I say everything, every test that I've had done, every doctor that I've seen, because you know, by HIPAA law, you can request all of your medical documents. So, what am I saying? I'm just saying you CP moms continue to be strong, continue to hold on. I don't know how long I'm gonna be pregnant. You know, like I said, I've already been in my from my recollection and my count. I've been pregnant. I know it as over 3 years, close to 4 years, and probably longer than that. But that's my story. That's my journey. You know, and like I said, people are gonna have an opinion about it and say what they need to, you know, say what they feel they need to say. But I'm gonna tell you something. You can come for me if you want to, but I'm not the one. Matter of fact, I'm not the one ordered to, because I'm not trolling and being condescending and all of that stuff. Guess who's not dealing with that? This girl. Because I'm gonna let you know. Now, I'm not gonna be rude. I say this in every video. I'm not gonna be rude. I'm not gonna, you know, get all indignant and all of that stuff. But I'm gonna let you know you're not coming on my page with it. So, if you can't be respectful, if you don't have genuine questions, if you know, really just genuinely want to know about CP, and you act like you have some sense, we can have a conversation. But if you come on name calling, telling me, oh, I'm not this and I'm not that, guess what? You're going to get blocked and you won't be able to get on my page. So you can go somewhere else with it. Because I'm not going for that. And I don't want other women who are dealing with this to see that negativity. My platform is for positive energy only. Now, you can give an opinion, and you can say, well, hey, that wasn't my experience, or this is what I experienced, or this is what I've studied, or this, that, and the other. And we can have a dialogue. I don't mind having a dialogue with people. I don't mind talking about it. But when you start coming on my page and telling me what I'm not, and you come on my page and say you're not this and you're not that, you don't live in my body. You're not going through what I'm going through. You're not experiencing what I'm experiencing. So don't come and tell me what I'm not when you're not experiencing what I'm experiencing. Because some people, oh, it's fibroids. Oh, it's this. Oh, what you have is called blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, what I have is called a pregnancy. That's what I have. And just because you don't have knowledge of it and it seems to be far-fetched to you or unbelievable to you does not make it true. Do you know how many people have conditions all over this world and that doctors don't have any answers to at all? They have no cure for at all, and only a small, maybe 1% of that, you know, people in the world have it. I mean, rare things do happen in people's bodies. And even with CP, I think the numbers may have gone up now, but when I first learned about my type of pregnancy, the statistic was only 1 out of 500 women have this type of pregnancy. Now, I know the numbers have changed, because I encounter so many different women who have cryptic pregnancies that call me and talk to me and inbox me and ask me questions and just want to dialogue and talk. I know the numbers have changed. And every CP woman that have called me and talked to me has said the same exact things. Nobody believes me. The doctors keep saying I'm not pregnant. They're saying I'm crazy. My family doesn't believe me. My spouse doesn't believe me. You know, and we all go through that. Nobody wants to support us except the CP community, because we're all going through the same thing. Now, let me give you an example. We might have somebody to comment. Somebody will see this video and come in and make a condescending comment like, yeah, the reason why doctors don't believe y'all because y'all crazy and none of y'all pregnant, all y'all delusional. So, ladies, when we see a comment like that, don't let it discourage you. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it get under your skin. You know, there are many times where I actually responded back, but I had to go back and delete my comment, because I don't give that type of energy the time of day. As long as you know your truth and know your story, don't allow people to turn you into something that, you know, could put you in a stressful position, or even cause you to act foolish like they are. You know, I mean, people are just mean-spirited. People are not compassionate. People don't know what to say out of their mouths. And, you know, like I said, people don't support what they can't comprehend. So don't let that kind of nonsense bother you. don't, because I certainly don't. I certainly don't. And then even when we push our babies out and we have our babies, they're going to, the naysayers, the non-believers are going to say, oh, she just got pregnant 9 months ago. You know, so no matter what we say, what we do, what type of proof we have, we're always going to be looked at as our story being, you know, false or something, you know, what we said is not true or whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to encourage you to let you know you don't have to worry about people not believing you. And then I just want to say this last thing, and this is what I stopped doing in the beginning. I hid my pregnancy for a little while because of the type of pregnancy it was, and I really wasn't ready to answer a lot of questions. It didn't happen for, I mean, it wasn't a long time that I did that. It's because I was still trying to get answers, and I really didn't know how to answer some of the questions that may have come my way. I mean, people saw my body changing and me picking up weight. I stopped. I couldn't walk. I had to use a scooter. I can only take a few steps because the babies are so heavy and they're in my back. So a lot of my physical, a lot of things physically for me changed. And I had knee replacement surgery. So when I was at work, people thought the reason why I was in the scooter is because of my knee. They didn't think it was because of a pregnancy. But anyway, I didn't start to get into the real reason why I was in my scooter until I felt comfortable enough to talk about it. And you have that right to either, you know, if you're not comfortable, hey, you don't have to talk about it. Just when you feel you are ready. And so when I did begin to tell my story to my coworkers and people in my life and things like that, I mean, some people looked at me like I had three eyes. Some people believed me, some people didn't. Some people just was intrigued and they really wanted to know the whole backdrop about CP and what I was going through and things like that. But I'm going to tell you what, I was not ashamed. I was not afraid. I was not scared because I know my truth. And I know I'm not the type of woman that's going to lie and make up something like that. You know, I mean, yeah, it's hard when people don't believe you and the people that you love and you want their support, that when they don't support you, that is hard. Trust me when I tell you, I get it. I do, because there are still people that don't support me. Still to this day, don't. But I don't have an expectation from them because I believe that whoever is supposed to be in my life and in my corner and, you know, on my team, those are the people that's supposed to be there. And those who are not, then those are the people that are not supposed to be there, even if they're dear to my heart. Even if I feel like if anybody should be supporting me, these particular people should be. I don't have an expectation from people. My expectations is to God. I mean, it's not. Sometimes I do feel some type of way. But anyway, y'all, my phone is I don't have a lot of gigabytes and all that stuff on my phone. So I'm going to get off of here. Happy Mother's Day, guys. I just wanted to come on and encourage you. And comment below how you're coming along in your pregnancy. Happy Mother's Day. Love you guys so much. Talk to you soon.